It's 13 till now as the Sunrise Morning Show continues for this feast of St. Angela Merisi, Monday, January 27th in the third week of Ordinary Time. Luke Maxwell joining us from Southern California, where our friends listen to the Sunrise Morning Show each weekday on EWTN and Immaculate Heart Radio, our affiliates there in Southern California. Luke is the founder of the teen suicide prevention website, YouCan'tBeErased.com. Luke, thanks for getting up so early to be with us here on the Sunrise Morning Show.
Oh, it's an honor to be on here with you, Mr. Patrick. I listen to your show all the time.
Thank you. Tell us a little bit about your own depression, if you would, and how that led you to actually attempt to take your own life.
Well, it started about 12. I slowly began to feel worse and worse. Every day, I just started to lose a little bit more hope. I started to be, just a little more down. I got tired all the time, and I thought it was just normal teenage behavior. So did my parents, because I never talked to them. So that continued until about 16, when I finally just became so tired with life. I had the opportunity to take my the car out. I took it out by myself and crashed it into the first thing I saw, which was another car coming in the opposite direction.
I cannot imagine what could lead a person to take such an action, although I am familiar with depression, and I know that it can just totally overwhelm a person. What were there things that were actually going on in your life that led you to this state, or was it just your mind basically telling you that everything was no good?
Right, it was just my mind. It was there was no situational about it. I thought there was situational problems that were going on, but to my depressed mind, everything was very warped.
So you hit an oncoming car. Can you tell us what happened out of that accident?
Well, first of all, I know it's surprising, but I formed a friendship with the other driver. So we both rolled several times. I wasn't wearing a seatbelt, and yet I came out with only a scratch on my wrist. And to speed things up a little, if you want to know what happened, we met with the other driver after a series of legalities and court appearances. Then we got the driver's info, cell phone number. My dad called him, he met with him, and said, "You gotta come meet this guy." So we brought our whole family over to talk to him. We talked for hours at a coffee shop.
Isn't that an amazing result of something that could have been so tragic? So I take it that he wasn't too seriously injured?
He was injured. It wasn't too seriously, but he did sustain some injuries.
Let's get into how your Catholic faith led you through this terrible place that you experienced to a place of hope rather than despair.
Oh boy, where to start? It's about a week after the crash. I started to come closer and closer to my faith. I still, I realized I want to become part of the sacraments again, because I did a lot of things when I was depressed that brought me away from the church, because I didn't really care about my faith anymore. I didn't care about anything. And about a week after, I had my first confession after that, and after that, it was an uphill ride. I attended a healing mass, which I actually fell down when they placed the wood of the cross on my head, and I might have passed out or something, but that also was a very instrumental part of my healing, where I feel the Holy Spirit has really been taking me, especially since then.
How old were you at this time that this conversion happened?
16.
So you experienced the depth of your depression, 15, 16 years old, and right in that same part of your life, you've been able to experience the beginning of recovery as well as a conversion and a return to your Catholic faith?
Yes, and also treatment has also been a part.
That's a really important point, isn't it? Because depression is a medical condition, isn't it?
Right, and we need to tell people that it's a treatable medical condition, just like a physical. And I know for my part, I didn't realize that. I thought it was just a state of mind, and I couldn't change anything. So we really get, especially teens, because teens aren't experienced enough in the world. They just think, oh, I'm feeling terrible, and oh, nothing can help me. So you know that with medication and therapy, it can help.
Well, an interesting name for your website, youcan'tbeerased.com. It's the letter U, CANTBERASED. Youcan'tbeerased.com. Tell us about the website, what inspired you to do it, and what you hope to accomplish with it.
Well, right after, a couple of weeks after, I started to realize, because my parents, they were looking for some kind of support group to start, to put me in, because I wanted to be around other people that are experiencing this. But there was nothing. So slowly I began to realize that we needed to start something, because nothing else is out there. So they don't feel so alone. They can be part of a community with other people like them. So we got the idea to start a website, to start a blog, and start trying to get this word out there. So we tossed around some ideas. My mom finally came up with the idea of You Can't Be Erased, because each person leaves an indelible mark on the world. And if they kill themselves, then that those just won't go away. That hundreds or thousands of people will be affected. And my parents helped me realize that if I had died, then a lot of people would have been affected by that.
Yeah, suicide may seem like the only way out for some when they're in that depth of depression. I don't want to say easy way out, because it can't certainly be that, but do you wonder, I wonder whether in that state of depression, in that illness, if there's really any thought given to the impact that this action will have on the lives of so many others.
There really is none. I mean, some people call suicide like a selfish act, and I guess that's partly true, but because you're always focused on yourself, you want everything to come out your way, but also because you're not thinking clearly. So, and suicide is just a symptom of depression. It's not a disease in and of itself.
That's an excellent point as well. So really, the only time that this can be addressed is before it gets to that point, really, because as you say, once you're at that point, you can't think clearly. So those who are finding themselves in the depth of depression, as you did, that could lead to the suicide attempt, are getting some help through youcan'tbeerased.com. What kind of resources do you have for teen suicide prevention on the site?
Well, first I put up blog posts about once a week or so, just to try to help people with their recovery and with telling someone. But also I have a video that we made, and that's to kind of inspire teens that there is hope. And also I have the letter that I wrote on the video. I have it in a printable version where you could copy and paste it to a document and then give it to your parents, or just put it somewhere where they'll see it, so they know that you're depressed, so there's some communication there. Because it's really hard to talk.
All right, Luke, we are praying for you and so many who find themselves in this situation. Youcan'tbeerased.com. It's the letter U, can't be erased. There's no apostrophe, obviously. Youcan'tbeerased.com. You'll find that linked at sunrisemorningshow.com. And let's keep especially teenagers in prayer today, that they can find some hope and not fall into this state of despair.